The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. It's your midweek fix for racing news and information. Brought to you by the Championship Racing Network. Now let's head trackside to join your hosts, Steve West and Matt Nicholson.
Welcome into the latest edition of Cross Flags. I'm Steve West. That is Matt Nicholson. Behind the scenes, producer Molly Robinson, producer John as well. We appreciate all of their hard work in getting us up on all the different places that we are available for you to make it easier for you. We have some things that we need to talk about. We're going to look back at the championship weekend that was in NASCAR, but there was a bit of news that came out over the weekend after we did the big show in kind of going through all of the different statements that had been talked about, the State of the Sport address that was given last Friday before they even got the Truck Series race going on. And we missed something. Or actually, I guess they announced it on Saturday.
Saturday afternoon, yeah.
So it was after the big show. They announced on Saturday that the Xfinity Series obviously is changing. It's going to become the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and you're about to see what this is going to look like right there. So the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and congratulations to them for getting a very strong, good title sponsor for the series. I think it's a great move on their part. Have no problem with that at all.
For sure.
It's a mouthful, so that's going to be a fun part when it comes to that. But we'll figure that out. That's all good. Not worried about that at all. Did find it interesting that they decided that they were going to allow a little bit more moonlighting. We talked about that on the big show, going from 5 to 10 races in the Xfinity Series if you're a Cup Series driver with 3 years or more experience in the Cup Series. And if you're a Cup driver with 3 years or more of experience, Craftsman Truck Series, you go from 5 to 8. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that, but not much I'm going to do because, well, they didn't ask me or us for that matter. The other part of it is the fact that you had to be a minimum age to be able to drive in the series. And that was Truck Series, Xfinity, soon to become O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, certainly the Cup Series. And that age has pretty much been 18. There have been some exceptions for specific kind of tracks, but that number is now dropping, Matt.
The way it's been is typically, well, not typically, the Craftsman Truck Series, and it's been this way for probably, I'm going to say, a solid 10 years that I can recall. At age 16, you can drive on tracks that are 1.25 mile and less, as well as road courses. The road courses are not high speed like your intermediates and super speedways, of course. So that's why they included the road courses in there. So now the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series is stepping up to a similar fashion of lowering their age limit as well, but they're not going from 18 to 16. They're going from 18 to 17 with the same parameters as the Truck Series has at 1.25 mile and less, as well as road courses. So that means Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Coda, Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Coda,
Charlotte
Roval, Gateway, Dover,
Portland, if they're going back out there,
they're
not next year, but
they're not going back to Portland.
If they do go back, because they've been there, so I'll go ahead and throw them in there.
Gateway, Dover, New Hampshire, Phoenix, Iowa, Richmond, Bristol, Martinsville, Rockingham.
It's a pretty good portion of the schedule when you get right down
very,
to
very,
it.
very sizable portion of the schedule for sure.
So here's my question. You and I have been kind of going over this for a long time and wondering, is there room at the inn? And what we mean by that is you reach a certain level. This is very well known in Formula One. For Formula One, you might get one rookie driver every other year. This year was kind of an anomaly. We got 6 rookie drivers this year. And that pretty much tells me you're not going to see a whole lot more movement because we're not hearing about anybody retiring there. We're not seeing a whole lot of movement out of the Cup Series here. And that means that there is a ceiling for people like Corey Heim. Connor Zilic has already been announced as he's moving up from the Xfinity to the Cup Series next year. Corey Heim is your champion. Corey Heim won for all intents and purposes, 50% of the races in the Truck Series this year. He won 12 out of 25, walked away with the championship. He's got nowhere to go.
And I don't think that was a very smart thing to do just yet. Announcing that you're not going back you're not going to be back in trucks, to which you've done everything that you can do in trucks and then some.
So in a way, we understand why he said he wouldn't go back to it.
You essentially rewrote the record book this year on your own.
But
single-handedly.
Where are you going?
Granted, you're signed as the de facto 2311 double A. Let's call him the 2311 triple A driver. Let's call it that.
Sure.
Okay. But now you've got this cap and this limit on 3 cars per team. And it's very well known that Riley Herbst, Riley's family, and Monster Energy paid a substantial amount of money to go towards said third charter. Don't think Riley's going anywhere. Tyler Reddick's not going anywhere. Pretty sure Bubba's not going anywhere. So where are you going?
And when you look over at Joe Gibbs Racing, yeah, Denny Hamlin's in his mid-40s, which is about the time when a lot of drivers are starting to talk about retirement. But Denny Hamlin says he feels like he's still got some gas left in the tank. And you look at the other 3 drivers over there at Joe Gibbs Racing, they're not going anywhere.
But that may be changing. Because it's now surfaced on social media at the NASCAR Awards media availability session that they had today, that even though he's got a contract in place, Denny hasn't made a firm commitment on returning in 26 based off of what happened Sunday. It's still up in the air. And
so Denny,
me talking with a helmet on, I can't blame him.
Well, and I get that. I mean, you think about the emotion that he poured out on Sunday, and we'll talk about it a little bit more here. You think about the emotion that he poured out on Sunday, and there's a lot of people that think that was his best chance. He probably isn't going to get another chance like that. I'm not so certain about that because we know what kind of cars Joe Gibbs Racing puts out there.
I'm going to disagree with that too.
Yeah. So really, this is about Denny trying to get his emotions in check, considering the situation with his dad's health and all that. We get that. But let's get back to this. So we mentioned a Corey Heim. My question is this: why would they make the announcement to drop the minimum age from 18 to 17? Do they have somebody in mind because of that rule?
The first name that really comes to mind for Toyota is Brent Cruz for Toyota. Now with Chevrolet, I really can't put my finger on one specific one or the other, because Chevrolet's got a pretty sizable pool that they can pull from. Ford, you don't know what they're doing from 1 minute to the next, because as of right now, they only have 2. They only have 2 Xfinity cars, O'Reilly Auto Parts cars, whatever you want to call them. They only have 2 in that division as of right now for 26.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem.
It is a huge problem.
Huge problem.
And you're sitting here thinking to yourself, wait a minute, didn't they have more? Well, they did. But remember, Haas factory team is switching back over to Chevrolet. They announced that, and we talked about it on the big show, and I think we even talked about it here on the podcast. So that took away 2 cars right there, and there was another team.
AM is dropping back solely focused on ARCA.
Yep, and that was the other Ford team. So the only team left that Ford has in what will become the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year is RSS Racing. Yes, they'll get a whole lot of Ford attention. They'll get a whole lot of Ford support, but you're one lone team against everybody else.
There is absolutely zero reason and zero excuse in my book that Roger Penske or Brad Keselowski and Jack Roush could not yank an Xfinity car, O'Reilly Auto Parts car, whatever,
Yeah,
out
it's
of the
going to take some
mothballs.
getting used to.
Out of the mothballs.
Sure.
And put it on the racetrack. Because you cannot tell me that Ford would not step up and help back the entire program.
And here's the other kind of subtle, non too subtle warning for the fine folks over at the Blue Oval Boys. Stellantis is coming.
In a hurry.
Ram coming in strong with a truck series program, 5 trucks right off the bat.
Something that I overheard and that was surfaced this morning that is apparently in the works. That 5th truck for Colleague, because they have 3 of the 5 seats filled already. Brendan Queen, Daniel Dye, Justin Haley. That's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Your 4th one, I would hedge my bets, will probably be Christian Eckes. Because
that'd be
you don't yank him up to Xfinity, drive your Xfinity car, and then just go, man, we're putting the program on pause. But you're sitting and you know he is, and I mean this in a good way, he's lethal in the truck series.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good. So you're not going to put him back into the truck series in your one of your pilot trucks. That's not good business sense. If I'm Bill McAnally, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, come on.
Come on back. I got you.
I got room for you. Let's go.
Put you back in the 91 truck, get Jack Wood, and put him in a catapult and send him into the sun for all I care. Put him back in the 91 truck. Okay? You've got your 4th truck still there. But apparently this 5th truck, because a well-known short track media member that covers a lot of regional short track racing pointed out something that I even caught on to. There are several names that are typically entered into the major crown jewel short track races, and one of them being this Sunday, the All-American 400. There's a few of those names missing from that list.
That is interesting
because
to know.
Apparently Ram and Stellantis are going to be teaming up with Dana White. The name ring a bell? And they're going to put on a form of the old school Roush Gong Show for seat number 5.
This could be interesting.
I need to go dust off my helmet, clean my fire suit up, get my shoes out, clean them up, and throw my name in the hat.
I'd be all about that.
Don't think for a second I wouldn't go for it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It's going to be neat if that does come about.
Yeah, and we'll keep you appraised of it. And obviously, if he tries out, even better. So O'Reilly Auto Parts, again, it's an interesting thought to drop it down to 17. Usually you've got somebody in mind when it comes to that. Don't know exactly what they were thinking when they decided to do it, but I guess it's just, the stepping up of the ladder. Now let's talk about the weekend, and let's go back to the Cup Series, and this brings us back to Denny Hamlin. Now, Kyle Larson is now officially a 2-time Cup Series champion. You'll see him with the trophies right there. And congratulations to him. He is a big fan of guys like Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart. Jeff Gordon won 4, Tony Stewart won 3. He wants to win at least 3. Driving for Hendrick Motorsports, I'm certainly not going to put it past him. He could easily do that.
Yep.
The thing about it is we have a lot of people that were stating that they felt like Denny Hamlin got robbed. I'm not so certain I can go that way. And I'm going to bring the racer in on this, but I'm going to set it up first. How many times in the course of whether it's been you on the track, Matt, or you just watching a race, and I don't care whether it's NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, whatever, that the fastest car or the dominant car of that particular race does not end up in victory lane?
It's happened quite a few times. It's happened to me. I won't be bashful about it. It has happened to me quite a few times. It's a bad feeling to have, no doubt. But one of the rare times I'm on a different page than he's on. Because when you go back and look at Saturday's race and Sunday's race, the two of them alone that finished second in their respective title fights Connor Zilisch and Denny Hamlin have a combined total of 16 wins.
Agreed. I know where you're going with that.
Your
Absolutely.
two champions, Jesse Love and Kyle Larson, have less than that.
I agree. And I'm not stating that. I'm looking at that race and I'm saying, I get it where Denny, and this is the rules change that we're going to get to here in a minute when it comes to this whole playoff situation. But when you're talking about just a single race, we have seen, and I've seen this countless times, where the most dominant car of the race, the car that leads by far the most amount of laps, sometimes well over half, which is the case for Denny Hamlin on Sunday afternoon.
208 out of 312.
But you got to lead that last lap. And you and I are well known on record for this. We stated many, many times on the podcast and on the big show that NASCAR's got a hair trigger when it comes to that caution. But I knew if anybody had a problem and they were to hit the wall, if they were to scrape the wall, that they were going to throw that caution flag. And sure enough, that's what they did.
Where those the main bulk of the tire problems that were happening, letting go into turn 3, there were, I know, 2 cautions that were thrown, that the caution got thrown before said vehicle made contact with the wall.
Mm-hmm.
24 car being one of them.
Yep.
Now, granted, it's a strategy game no matter what. Okay? But 2 tires versus 4 tires, it happens every single race. No tires, 2 tires, 4 tires. It don't matter what track you're on. It happens. But I seen the way some lines were getting driven in that last restart. There was a little bit of defense being played by some non-championship cars. There was some defense being played.
I could agree with that. Absolutely.
And that's where there was defense being played, 1. 2, when you have Byron that comes up into the post-race media availability and comes up and looks at Denny Hamlin, taps him on the shoulder and says, "Sorry, man."
Mm.
I'm trying to do my best meme impersonation of that JD Vance meme from years ago going, really?
Yeah.
You don't come up and do that right there unless you, what were you doing? But the car that's leading the race with 3 laps to go, tire magically, let's go. The one car that does not have a tire problem the entire race happens with 3 laps to go. And your other ones that have had tire problems are charging through the field to make it happen. Sorry, some things are a little suspect there.
I can agree, but if you just take it all on the surface, again, the situation that happened to Denny Hamlin, not unheard of. It's been seen before.
It's not.
And I feel for Denny Hamlin because, again, we talked about it just a minute ago. The problems that his dad is having, apparently it's terminal. We don't know how long he's got.
Yeah.
Nobody does except for the good Lord above. So we feel for that, and we're sorry about that. Absolutely 100%. And even if you are a most ardent Denny Hamlin hater when it comes to him being on the track, you got to have some at least empathy towards that, if not outright sympathy. And me having lost my dad in 2008 in a way that I wouldn't want to wish on anybody, I have a lot of sympathy for Denny Hamlin. So I can easily state that. We do congratulate Kyle Larson. And for those of you that are sitting there, I mean, he said it, 6 wins on the year for Denny Hamlin. But actually, if you go back, like a lot of people want to go to, and go back to the very old Winston Cup way of looking at the points, who would your champion have been? Kyle Larson.
I saw Christopher Bell.
I saw Kyle Larson.
We may have been looking at 2 different ones.
It's very possible.
But
either way, if it was Christopher Bell or if it was Kyle Larson, it wasn't Denny Hamlin. So here's the thing. How many times did we see it under that point system? The consistency factor was the most important thing. It didn't matter how many races you ran or won in a year. It mattered how consistent you were throughout the course of the year.
So with a majority of media pundits, let's call them that were in Phoenix that let it slip post race, saying good riddance to this format. Okay, that means the format's gone.
The current one.
The current
of a 3-3-3-1 format.
And it should have been gone 5 years ago.
You and I talked about this last week. Would you be willing to do a playoff like they did before they did this 3-3-1? In other words, have a 10-race run, and over the course of that 10 races, the most consistent one ends up winning it.
Only if you now I know there was bonus point structure level for like wins or whatever it needs to be, or a gap. If you go back to the old chase style format,
right?
Which I don't think that's what it's going to.
Probably not. But
signs
still
are pointing that it's going back to the old school format.
Yeah, but let's just say that they keep the idea for the playoffs or the chase.
If they keep that idea, you go top 10. Everybody resets to a flat number.
Okay.
So let's say for example, me, him, Molly gets in the chase. Okay, we're all in our car, all in. We're all going. We're going for it. We reset to 2,000. That way, you give a real, true read of who is the most consistent over a 10 race span. Because if I go in, if Steve goes in third, Molly goes in fifth, and if I go in 10th, and there is a gap of 40 points between the three of us, between third through 10th, 40 points is not an easy gap to make up in 10 races. It's not.
No, it isn't.
So you put it at a flat number, so that way you know who is the most consistent over a 10 race gap.
Okay.
That'll tell you.
And obviously the 2011 one sticks out to me, being a Tony Stewart fan, but also the fact that he went into those 10 races without having a win in the regular season and then ripped off 5 in 10 races. Are you giving bonus points for a win? Or are you just stating we're just going to run the points as the points?
I would go something F1 style. Isn't F1 bonus points win 2 or 5?
It's 25-18 win versus second place.
That's 7.
Yeah.
Okay. I would go the most basic level you could go. 2 points. I would go 2.
So under your scenario, Molly's third. I think you put me fifth.
Fifth. And I'm 10th.
He's 10th.
I'm the cellar dweller.
If Molly could just sit there and consistently run top 5, top 10 throughout the course of it, I could win technically. I could win. Let's call it the Tony Stewart. I could win 5 out of 10 races. But if those 5 that I didn't win are massively inconsistent and I get a lot of 20th, maybe even a DNF in there, she still beats me.
Yeah.
Consistency still matters. Think about it. It's very important. And that's why it's not really Kyle Larson that we're worried about. It's this next guy we're going to show you that really, really caused all of this worry. This guy right here, the guy who will wrap up and become the trivia question of the last technically Xfinity Series champion, Jesse Love. Jesse Love did something fairly impressive in the fact that he bookended the year. He won the season opener at Daytona. He wins the season closer at Phoenix. He walks away with a championship when the odds were really against him. He was driving the one car that wasn't a junior motorsports car. 3 junior motorsports car versus the 1 RCR. The RCR car walks away with it. It wasn't Corey Heim on Saturday. We figured Corey Heim was going to win the championship. He did.
Well, after you go 7, if you're going to be wild enough to go 7 wide out of turn 2, you should win it.
Yes, you
7
deserve
wide.
it. Wish I had a picture of that. On the other hand, not as much. There's some people, again, who are chirping about the Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson thing, but to me, that's not as egregious as this. Because if you're going the consistency route, not only does Connor Zilisch claim, 10 wins?
10.
But he was consistently Once he got really settled in that car, and it only took a couple of races at the very beginning of the year. Once he got really settled in that car, he was madly consistent all year long. Every single time we talked about the race results, it seemed like we had Connor Zilic, if not in the top 5, certainly in the top 10. Almost every race. He sets the record, I think, for wins in an Xfinity Series season.
10.
Set the new record for top 5s and top 10s in an Xfinity Series season as well. And that goes all the way back to its beginning, back when it was the Little Busch Series.
Now, after he was injured at Talladega and had to set out at Texas in the spring, and then he came back.
That too.
He didn't finish any worse than 5th for 4 months.
Think about that. That right there is consistency. And that gentleman hosting that trophy right there actually probably is the one that put the nail in the coffin for the current format. It wasn't the Cup Series. It was this race that caused
this one
that
right
to
here.
die.
Let's put up another red flag on this one right here too. This one was disqualified at Rockingham.
Interesting to note, isn't it?
This one had a disqualification at Rockingham because of car ride heights on the car.
And yet somehow still makes the playoffs, still wins the title. So if you want to know who to blame for killing the current playoff format, this guy right here, with an assist by Joey Logano last year. And it's not Joey Logano's fault either. Again, he gets in because the car gets disqualified, due to not meeting the requirements. So Joey Logano gets in. But what did I say last year when Joey Logano suddenly got that second chance? I told you to watch out for him. And sure enough, he walked away with the title.
Yep.
We can talk playoffs all we want. They haven't figured out yet, they probably have figured it out, but they haven't announced it yet, what the new format is going to be for figuring out who's going to hoist the title. That might actually come tonight during the awards ceremony.
Very well could.
Either way, if they do announce it this week, we will talk about it on the big show come Saturday. And we're on at our regular time because Alabama LSU is a night game, as it should be. I think it's a great place to have the Alabama LSU game. It should be at night. Let everybody get thoroughly sauced. I don't care whether you're at Death Valley or in Tuscaloosa, where they are this weekend in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a bloodbath, but anyway.
Especially after Brian Kelly. But then again, we've seen coaching changes, and all of a sudden the team that lost their head coach jump up and bite somebody in the butt. UAB, anybody? Just throwing it out there. But this is a racing podcast after all. So yeah, we're on at our regular time on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget you can check it out on our other feed, CRN Live on YouTube. Go ahead and search it. For those of you that are willing, comment, subscribe down below, whether it's Jocks FM, Real Talk 99.5 TV, or CRN Live. We appreciate y'all very much. We appreciate producers John and Molly for all of their help in getting everything set up. And we will talk to you Saturday morning, again, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time, with all the latest. See you then.
You've been listening to Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. For more content like this, subscribe to CRN Live on YouTube, and you'll be set to catch the 2-hour live show every Saturday morning at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.